The world wants you to believe in overnight success. It wants you to believe that greatness happens in a moment, that transformation comes in a flash of inspiration, that victory arrives in a single spectacular leap. But that's a lie. A dangerous, toxic lie that has crushed more dreams than failure ever could. The truth? As Joe Rogan has discovered through decades of martial arts, broadcasting, and pushing human potential, greatness isn't born in moments. It's built in millimeters. Most people have no idea what it takes to get good at something, Joe says. They see the end result. They don't see the thousands of hours that went into it. Those thousands of hours aren't glamorous. They're not Instagram-worthy. They're a collection of small steps, small struggles, and small wins that almost no one notices or celebrates except you. But those small wins? Stack enough of them together, day after day, and they become an unstoppable force. Think about water. A single drop is nothing. You can flick it away without effort. But drops of water, falling consistently, can carve through solid rock. They can shape canyons. They can alter the face of the earth itself. Not through force, but through persistence. Not through magnitude, but through consistency. You are those drops of water. Your small wins are those drops of water. There's a direct relationship between how much pain and sacrifice you're willing to endure and how successful you're going to be, Joe reminds us. But here's where most people get it wrong. They focus on the end goal, the massive mountain they need to climb, and they become paralyzed. They look at the person they want to become, the fighter, the entrepreneur, the artist, the athlete, and the gap seems too wide, the distance too far, and so they quit before they even start. That's why Joe Rogan's approach of stacking small wins is so powerful. It shifts your focus from the overwhelming to the achievable, from I need to lose 100 pounds to I need to eat well today. From I need to build $1 million business to I need to make one sales call today. When you stack wins this way, something magical happens. You're no longer at the mercy of motivation. You're no longer dependent on feeling inspired, because anyone can win small, even on their worst day. Bad day at work? You can still drink your water. Feeling sick? You can still read one page. Stressed out of your mind? You can still take 3 deep breaths. These aren't epic victories. They won't make headlines, but they maintain the streak. They maintain the momentum. They add another drop to the canyon you're carving. Momentum is everything, Joe says. Once you have momentum, it's easier to keep going. And here's what's fascinating about stacking small wins. It hacks your brain's reward system. Every time you accomplish something, no matter how small, your brain releases dopamine. That feeling of accomplishment becomes addictive. You start to crave it. You start to seek it out. Over time, this creates a virtuous cycle. Win small, feel good, want more of that feeling, win again, feel better, want even more. Before long, you're not forcing yourself to take action. You're drawn to it. You're pulled forward by the very momentum you've created. This is how average people become extraordinary, not in a single bound, but through countless tiny steps, each one building on the last. Look at any true master of their craft. The fighter with flawless technique, the musician whose fingers dance across instruments, the speaker who commands a room without apparent effort. What you're seeing isn't talent. What you're seeing isn't luck. What you're seeing is the accumulated result of small wins stacked over years, over decades. People want the magic pill, but there is no magic pill, Joe explains. There's no replacement for hard work and consistency. The key is to make those wins so small that they're almost impossible to miss. So small that excuses can't find a foothold. Can't work out for an hour. Do 5 push-ups. Can't meditate for 30 minutes. Take 3 mindful breaths. Can't write a chapter. Write a paragraph. Can't completely change your diet. Drink 1 glass of water before each meal. These aren't compromises. They're strategic victories. They're the drops of water that, over time, will carve your canyon. And the beautiful thing about small wins, they compound. They build on each other. They create what mathematicians call exponential growth, the kind that starts imperceptibly slow and then suddenly accelerates beyond what seems possible. This is why Joe says, be the hero of your own movie. If your life was a movie and it started now, what would the hero do right now? Do that. The hero doesn't wait for perfect conditions. The hero doesn't need grandiose opportunities. The hero takes whatever small step is available right now, then another, then another. What most people miss is that success isn't about intensity, it's about consistency. It's not about the one perfect workout. It's about the thousands of average workouts that you showed up for. It's not about writing 1 brilliant page. It's about writing many decent pages, day after day. Consistency trumps intensity. Joe often reminds us, what you do every day matters more than what you do once in a while. This is why New Year's resolutions fail. People try to change everything at once. They go from 0 to 100 overnight. The change is too drastic, too painful, too overwhelming, and so they quit, convinced that they lack what it takes. But what if, instead, they had focused on stacking small wins? What if they had made the bar so low that they couldn't help but clear it? That's the secret power of small wins. They're accessible to everyone. You don't need special talents. You don't need extraordinary genetics. You don't need privileged circumstances. You just need to be willing to start small and stay consistent. Success isn't about big breaks, Joe says. It's about small habits repeated day after day. Think about that. The difference between who you are today and who you'll be in 5 years isn't determined by momentous decisions or life-altering events. It's determined by what you do consistently, day after day, when no one's watching. By the small wins you stack when there's no applause, no recognition, no immediate reward. Consider a simple math problem. If you improve just 1% each day for a year, you'll end up 37 times better at the end. Not 365% better, which would be impressive enough, but 3,700% better. That's the power of compounding. That's the magic of stacking small wins. But here's the catch. You have to embrace the slowness of the process. You have to fall in love with the boring middle part of the journey that most people can't endure. Embrace the grind. Joe urges. Everyone wants the glory, but few want the grind. But it's the grind that makes you. The grind isn't glamorous. It's showing up when you don't want to. It's doing the work when no one's watching. It's stacking another win when it seems like it doesn't matter. But it does matter. Every small win is a brick in the foundation of your unstoppable self. And here's what's extraordinary. Once you've stacked enough small wins, what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. The mountain that looked insurmountable now stands beneath your feet, not because you made a giant leap, but because you took thousands of tiny steps. This mindset, this focus on stacking small wins, doesn't just change what you achieve. It changes who you become. It transforms you from someone who needs immediate results into someone who trusts the process. From someone who's motivated by outcomes into someone who's committed to the journey. The journey is the reward, Joe reminds us. The process of becoming is what life is all about. When you stack small wins, you stop seeing failure as final. Instead, it becomes feedback. A small loss in a larger game you're winning. You develop what psychologists call anti-fragility, the quality of growing stronger from setbacks rather than being diminished by them. This is how you become unstoppable, not by avoiding obstacles, but by seeing each one as another opportunity to stack a win. Another chance to prove to yourself that you're the kind of person who keeps moving forward, no matter what. Life isn't about what happens to you, Joe says. It's about how you respond to what happens to you. And when you respond by focusing on the next small win, you become unconquerable. Because while others are waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect feeling, you're stacking wins. While they're dreaming, you're doing. While they're planning, you're progressing. So what small win will you stack today? It doesn't need to be impressive. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be a step forward, a drop of water against the rock, a brick in your foundation. Maybe it's making your bed. Maybe it's drinking an extra glass of water. Maybe it's 5 minutes of reading. Maybe it's sending that email you've been avoiding. Maybe it's just taking 3 deep breaths when you want to react in anger. Whatever it is, claim it, recognize it, celebrate it, and then tomorrow stack another one on top of it. Day by day, win by win, step by step. This is how ordinary people accomplish extraordinary things. This is how you write books, build businesses, transform bodies, master skills. This is how you become unstoppable. Not through grand gestures or heroic efforts, but through small steps and small wins, stacked with relentless consistency. As Joe Rogan has learned through decades of discipline, the secret isn't in what you do occasionally. It's in what you do consistently. Stack those wins every day, no matter what, and watch as they transform not just your circumstances, but your very identity. Because ultimately, that's what stacking wins does. It changes who you are. It turns you into the kind of person who finishes what they start, the kind of person who can be relied upon, the kind of person who doesn't need motivation because they have something far more powerful, habits. And with enough small wins stacked one on top of the other, there's nothing you can't achieve. No goal too distant, no dream too grand. This is the path. Small steps, small wins, unstoppable results. Start stacking.